Hello and welcome. I was waiting for the 10-second countdown that we normally do.
I know. We got to work on that. We should
That's all
actually
right.
sit down and work on that sometime. Maybe
That's
go
all right.
over it.
Hello and welcome to Hey Mando podcast on the Merc Movie Blog Podcast Network, where we talk about the Mandalorian, season 2, episode. What is it? Episode 5 today.
Yes, of season 2. Yep.
We are past the trailers, officially past the trailers. There is no trailer footage for the rest of the season, and this episode was, is the title a spoiler? I think we're going full in on spoilers this episode, folks.
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily a spoiler because the person shown is no longer what the title is.
Well, that, you would think that, Wade. You would think that, wouldn't you? All right. Well, the title is The Jedi. We've been told over and over again in this show that we're going to find a Jedi for the child. And this week, we found one.
Hold on now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on. We were never told that we would find a Jedi. We were just told
they were looking for one.
He needs to find a Jedi.
Yes,
and therefore that doesn't necessarily mean that he found a Jedi.
No, but I wish that maybe the show had been a little more clear on that front, because I don't think people would know that he didn't necessarily find a Jedi. But anyways, this episode is written and directed by Dave Filoni. It was a big episode.
Yeah.
It was a big episode. Everybody was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. Very excited. We were talking at the end of last episode that we were very excited for this episode. Before we jump into the spoilers, Wade, I want to get a temperature check on you. How did you feel about the episode?
I enjoyed it much more the second viewing. The first viewing, I was especially put off by a couple things. But the second viewing, it wasn't as bad. I was really excited for it. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't the worst. It was better than Hey Mando.
Hey Mando. Yeah, it was better than that. I liked it more than I liked the prison ship episode.
What?
I know, but I'm not a big fan of that episode. I wasn't a fan of Bill Burr in that episode. It was just Bill Burr in space, and I didn't.
Right on.
But I think the best way I can express my feelings on this episode are just disappointment. I felt pretty disappointed watching it the first time. It's the first episode of The Mandalorian where I pulled my phone out in the middle of an episode. I was waiting. I waited up to watch it. I was very excited. I waited up till 3 because I didn't have to work today.
I don't know how you do that shit.
You're
young.
Yeah, I'm young. It takes a young. It's young. I didn't have to work today, so I waited up until until it came out at 3, and I popped it on. And about halfway through, I went on Twitter to see what people were thinking of it because I was not enjoying it. I was pretty down on it when I finished my first viewing. I really was not a fan of it. I thought I really didn't like it. I like it more now the second time I've seen it. There are things about it that I really like, and I think that's what I want to start with, is the stuff that we really like, because I think that the stuff that I didn't like was a bigger part of the episode.
Right.
And the things that I did like were unfortunately the minority. But with that being said, let's dive into the episode. And you know what? We're going to talk about spoilers because it's difficult not to. We're going to talk about the things that we like with spoilers. Once we're done with the things that we liked, we'll go to break, probably around there. Hopefully it'll take us about 15 minutes to talk about the things that we like. Hopefully we're not done talking about the things we liked in 15 minutes.
We'll be done in 5.
And then we'll go to break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the issues that we might have with the episode. So, Wade, why don't you hit me off first with something you liked about the episode?
Well, it has to do with it, but before that, refresh my memory, please. Ahsoka's white saber blades.
Yes, silver.
Did they were white in Rebels, weren't they?
Yes.
Now, were they white when she left the Jedi Order in Clone Wars as well?
No, we don't know when she got them.
Okay.
Because she did not have them at the end of Clone Wars.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wondering, because, well, are they new sabers, like new hilts,
Yes.
or
the hilts are different as well?
Hilts with new crystal.
No, a different hilt as well. The lightsabers that she has in the Ahsoka novel might cover it. I haven't read it, but there's an Ahsoka novel that I believe takes place in between episodes or in between Clone Wars and Rebels, and that might cover where she gets the new sabers from. But she had them in Rebels, and it's a new hilt, new silver. I think this is supposed to be silver. They looked a little too white to me in the episode, but I don't want to nitpick. That's the least of my issues with the episode is the way her lightsaber looked.
Oh, wait a minute. Am I being stupid? Now that I'm thinking about it, at the end of Clone Wars in the very last episode, she left the hilts on that planet, didn't she? That
she dropped her old lightsabers, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now they're okay.
Yeah.
I should have remembered that. But anyway, so segueing into, it was awesome to see lightsabers, man.
Yeah.
It was cool in there were some of a couple key moves that Ahsoka does in the animation that she did in this.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yes.
So I liked that. I also liked, I don't know, it's odd for me kind of to like something like this, but I liked those two-legged dinosaur things that were
those
in the
were
background.
cool. Those were cool. They were little weird
Normally,
things.
I wouldn't like that kind of shit, but it was really fucking cool.
I thought that was cool as well.
Yeah. Baby Yoda was on fire this episode for me, honestly, dude. I loved it so much. He's the shit.
Yeah.
I hate that I love the little bastard, but he's cute, so.
Yeah, there is some stuff with Baby Yoda that I have issues with within this episode. Not stuff that he does, but stuff that we're told about Baby Yoda that I'm not a huge fan of.
Right.
But one of the things I really loved about this episode is Din Djarin and his relationship with Baby Yoda in this episode. I'm sorry, I'm not going to call him by the name. I'll eventually do it, but we're talking spoilers. We find out his name is Grogu.
Yeah.
We have a little picture.
Did you ever think for a second that I would actually ever call him by his name, no matter what his name is? He's always
yeah. I don't want to get into stuff I disliked, but I dislike the name Grogu. So
yeah, it does not sound good, dude.
No, it's not fun to say.
It's not cute. It takes away a little bit of the cuteness from him.
It kind of sounds like Goku, and I'm like, anyways, I really like the setting.
Yeah,
I think you could pull a little bit of criticism that maybe it's kind of similar to Dagobah. And it's a little, they're maybe you could say that they're trying a little too hard to pull on those episode 5 and Yoda vibes with Ahsoka and finding Ahsoka in this place. I think it's okay. Star Wars repeats itself. It rhymes. That's kind of
but it was cool that it was the Mandalorian who was getting him to use his powers, as opposed to like at Dagobah, it was another Force user getting trained Luke. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and she's like, connect with him. You know, Ahsoka's in the episode. We haven't actually outright said that yet, but she is. And she tells Din to connect with Baby Yoda, and for a split second. And I don't know how you would have felt about this, but I really wish it had happened. But I think they're saving it. I think it's going to happen by the end of the season. I thought he was going to take his helmet off to connect with Baby Yoda. And that was but he pulled out the ball, and that also worked. I think
he's not to that point yet with his creed and shit. And but real quick concerning that, and then it's not going to take long to mention.
Yeah.
Upon rewatching last week's episode, I hadn't noticed the first two viewings that when he lifts up his helmet the first time to snip the thing, Baby Yoda's like kind of looking to get a peek of his face, and that was adorable.
Yeah. I think if Ahsoka hadn't been there, he might have done it.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think Ahsoka being there made it definitely he's not ready to do that. But I think by the end of the season, we're going to see him take his helmet off for Baby Yoda.
I want
to see some Pedro Pascal. You got him in the suit. Take that helmet off sometimes.
Not this season yet, though. Next season. Right at the very beginning of next season. Have him take it off for Baby Yoda.
For Baby Yoda, do you think they'll end the season with him like reaching his hands up to the helmet and then it'll cut away?
That would be such a dick. Oh man, that would be such a tease, man.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
fine with it though. I don't want him. My reasons are selfish though, so I don't want them to. I don't want him to remove his helmet in front of anyone yet.
Okay. I think that would be, for me, that would be the first person is gonna have to be Baby Yoda.
Yeah, yeah. It can't be some broad from some random village planet.
No. But yeah, I loved the setting.
Or could it be?
Maybe. I want to bring this picture up because
I mean,
it looks so good. It looks like something out of like a fairy tale.
It does.
The entire episode has that feeling.
Potterish, to be honest.
Yes. I don't actually, I can't think of what the name is, but Ahsoka's owl is there on the tree. I noticed that while watching, and I really like that the owl is still around. I really like the design of the town. It's kind of got an old Japanese feeling to it, an almost feudal Japan setting type thing. This episode was insanely inspired by samurai movies. This was a samurai movie episode. I mean, in the way the final fight plays out, like the shot composition, it is a love letter to samurai films.
But there was definitely that Western aspect too, because Boba Fett had that Western standoff with Bean. Is that his name?
Yeah.
No, is it Michael?
I think so.
I hadn't I kept watching it going, dude, I know him. Mm-hmm. But then once I realized it was freaking Johnny Ringo, I was like, dude, if he should have played that, I know it would be so stupid. Like, it's stupid for me to say, but he should have played that as Johnny Ringo. That would have been fucking awesome.
I didn't like him in this episode.
You didn't?
I thought he was really annoying.
Didn't do anything for me, really, but I think it was more for like him being in the tombstone and you know.
The only thing that I could think when he was on screen at the ending when they do their standoff is like, just fucking shoot him already.
Right.
Like I was, I don't know.
I kind of wanted to see an Indiana Jones moment where the Mando doesn't even feel like messing around with him, and as he's talking, he just draws and shoots him, and that's that.
I wish he'd done that. I didn't want to hear him talk that much. I was not a fan of the. Anyways, stuff that I like. Positive. We're happy here. I know the internet doesn't like you when you're negative about Dave Filoni and his Star Wars stuff. So
well, that's also why we've not brought up Ahsoka yet, because we're talking about things that we liked.
Which to preface to add upon what you like, we like the character of Ahsoka.
Yes. Oh, dude, she's my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like, she is my favorite character in Star Wars canon.
Yeah. She's not my favorite, but I love her a lot. She's in my like top 5. So,
Jango, I think, is probably my favorite, actually.
Jango or Boba?
There's a lot, dude. Jango is the shit.
Yeah.
He is so underrated, man. There's so much there that I mean, say what you will about him and him potentially being a fake Mandalorian and all that shit. The fact of the matter is, for whatever reason, he was badass enough for the Jedi to pick him to clone to make this great army out of.
He is a badass.
I think that gets lost on people because of the way he's been treated on screen.
And that's that chase that he does in episode 2 in the Slave 1 with the that concussion bomb thing.
That was
the sonic bomb. Shit's so cool.
But anyway, sorry about that sidetrack.
I really like they pulled some more stuff from KOTOR. The HK droids, they name dropped HK droids, which was fucking awesome. HK-47 is one of your companions in KOTOR, and he is one of the coolest characters in all of Star Wars. I love him so much. He is hilarious. The things that the people were like being held captive in, those little
right.
Those are from KOTOR as well. Those kind of prisoner things that shock you.
So basically, you're standing in there, and whenever your legs give out and you touch the things, it shocks you. That's what I took from it. Is that how it works?
In KOTOR, it's like an energy field that if you move around, it'll shock you. And also, they can activate shockers, like they can electrify the inside of the field as well. All right. Which it looked like what they were kind of doing was like they were just every so often just shocking them. It would just activate, and it would just,
That would be awesome. Put in my dungeon somewhere.
So I really liked all of those things. The score, I loved.
Fuck yeah.
I loved Ludwig Göransson's take on Ahsoka's theme. When that plays, you hear a little bit of her theme, and I loved his take on that. A little bit of Yoda's theme played when he was mentioned. They name dropped Master Yoda. I don't exactly like this because I'm not sure I like the direction it's taking the show, but name dropping Thrawn,
yes,
was great. Loved the name drop of Thrawn. I really hope that was setting up something else and not something for this show, because I don't
no, that in my mind that confirmed that whether it's animated or live action, in my mind that was confirmation we are getting some sort of a spin-off that will have Ahsoka and most likely and hopefully Sabine,
I would hope
continuing their quest.
That, and they name dropped Tython, which is an old EU planet. That's where the Jedi come from, I'm pretty sure. It's where the Jedi Order started before like it split into dark and light side. So they name dropped Tython. I don't love that we're going there. I kind of feel like we're getting a little heavy in the Force.
Right.
Maybe a little too heavy in the Force. And I mean, my favorite thing is the Force. That's my favorite thing in Star Wars, is the Force and the Jedi and stuff, and it just doesn't seem to fit the show for me. The Mandalorian, Din Djarin to me is becoming too much of a side character in his own show. Hopefully these last 3 episodes will turn it around a little bit. We'll be done with the cameos, and we'll kind of refocus. Although I'm sure Boba Fett will show up in one of these last 3 episodes, but we have no idea.
We've got to see, even if it's at the very end of next week's episode, we've got to see Moff Gideon, right?
Yeah, but that's Mando stuff. You know, that's what I want to get back to, is Moff Gideon and Din and all the stuff that's happening with that.
Isn't Robert Rodriguez directing the next episode?
He's either doing the next episode or the second to last episode.
All right. It would make more sense second to last. That way this next episode can bring back in Moff Gus, and then they have it out in Rodriguez's. That's how I would do it if I was running the show, but I'm not running the show. So
it's got to be next episode, because Rick Famuyiwa is doing. He's writing episode 7, so he's probably also directing it.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, you can't waste Rodriguez's action skills,
dude. What if we get Boba Fett next episode and we get Robert Rodriguez directing Boba Fett versus Mando?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm still on. We got to have Moff Gideon's got to.
We got 2 more episodes after that.
Yeah, but I mean, then we're not going to leave enough room for Luke.
Do you think that's who the Jedi that they want to find?
I actually wanted to say that when she said like he'll reach out, if he reaches out to the Force, then it's possible a Jedi could contact him. That was the first thing I thought, and I swear I'll have to go back and listen again. Maybe my ears tricked me, but I swear I heard in the score a little tone pitch to the Binary Suns.
Maybe.
Song.
Although that's no longer really Luke's theme. It's more the Force theme in general.
That's true. It is. You're right. Right. But that's who I think gets Sebastian in next season to
if he shows up this season. It's not been cast yet. It's not Sebastian Shaw. If he shows up this season, they're gonna hit him from the back or something.
Right.
I think that what's probably going to happen is they're going to get to Tython. Oh, man. What if they do the next 2 episodes with Moff Gideon, and then the last episode is Tython? And we don't get any Boba Fett this season.
Well, I kind of assumed that Moff Gideon would go down on...
Maybe.
On, what is it, Tython?
Tython, yeah.
Yeah, I would assume that it would go down on Tython, especially with him being so obsessed with, like, the Force, Darksaber, all this stuff. I would assume that like he'd leap at an opportunity to go there if he's not already.
So yeah, I definitely think next episode is Boba Fett then, because I think I think you end the season on Tython, right?
Me too.
So then I think it'd be 7 and 8.
Yeah, we end wondering if a Jedi, if a Jedi is going to reach back out to Baby Yoda, or are we gonna maybe when he reaches out through the Force, maybe we hear a Mark Hamill voiceover.
Ooh, that'd be
that's
good.
the end of it. And then next year we get Sebastian as Luke.
Honestly,
I don't know.
Because here's the thing: the baby's never gonna leave. Mando.
No,
no. It's not. We might get close. So I wonder if we'll get to Tython, and he won't reach out. If he'll be like, "No, I want to stay with you," or maybe he'll reach out and we'll have a will he leave, a will he won't leave next season. That will culminate with him not going with Luke. But who knows? I mean, we literally don't know anything that's going to happen in the rest of the season. I'm pretty sure all of the castings have been shown at this point. I don't think there's any more rumored castings that we haven't seen yet. We've seen all the footage from the trailers. I think if we're going to end the season on Tython, that means next episode would have to deal with Boba Fett, unless we just don't deal with Boba Fett. And he doesn't show back up. I
mean, he has to show back up again, whether it's some point this season or next season. But I mean,
that would suck.
Fucking dick thing.
That would suck so bad if he's not in this season.
Yeah, just have him at the end of an episode 2 fucking times. First 1 in season 1, 2 in season 2, and then just that would piss me off, to be honest, if they did that. Yeah. They've got to at least have him in for like half of an episode.
And I think if it's going to happen, it'll be next episode, because I think the last 2 episodes will be like a 2-parter, like last season was.
Right.
So I feel like if we're going to do Boba Fett, it has to be next episode.
Dude, I'd kind of just like to not see Boba Fett, but see Slave One is stalking him as he's
I'd be okay with that. Maybe we see them leave Tython and Slave One flies behind them, and that's the end of the season.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they leave Tython after Luke's voiceover comes, Mark Hamill's voiceover comes. Yeah. They leave, and then we are all sitting there thinking, dude, this is like the cliffhanger. Like Luke reached out to him, what's going to happen next? And then the last scene is Slave One stalking.
That'd be dope.
That would be pretty fucking fly.
I don't know what's going to happen, man. I really...
We're probably 100% wrong.
This is the first time entire season I've had no idea what's coming next.
Well, I mean, I nailed the cloning thing and it having to do with Snoke not.
We don't know yet. We're not sure.
Also, real quick on that front, dude, because I also on my rewatch, that protocol droid that is teaching the kids, she's talking about the unknown regions.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking to the kids about. And I was like, oh, yeah, I was right, baby.
So one of the things that I was thinking of was, after watching this episode, I'm pretty sure this takes place before the final scene of Rebels. I think this is before Ahsoka and Sabine have set out looking for Ezra. Because she's, at the end of Rebels, she's got like this whole Gandalf the White outfit thing going on, where she's wearing like a white cloak and she kind of looks like Gandalf in Return of the King. I was
thinking about that too, but okay, you're going to have to refresh my memory. Because in Rebels, they fought it. They helped destroy the battle of it's Scarif. They were at Scarif, correct?
They were there, but they're not in the show.
But I mean, in the time, like in the overall timeline, that they were there, and that's the last we know of Hera, correct? Because
we've seen her post Endor in one of the games. I think she was in Star Wars Squadrons post Endor.
So how long was Thrawn going off into light speed with
we know they didn't leave.
Timeline there?
Yeah, we know they didn't leave to go find Ezra until after the Battle of Endor. So at least 4 years in the unknown regions alone. Now I'm starting to think that it's been longer, because this felt like Ahsoka before she's left to go find Ezra.
Because I did notice the garb was a lot. It was, well, not a lot different. It was 100% different.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if maybe this is so we had this scene, the name drop of Thrawn. Let me bring it up. She's got. We'll talk about the look, but she's got her with the lightsaber, and she says, "Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn?" What I think happens is, "Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn?" She tells her, she goes to pick up Sabine, and the two of them go off. Yeah. So I think that this episode makes me rethink where that finale of Rebels, where that very last scene, the scene of Sabine and Ahsoka leaving, when that takes place. Because I think it takes place after this episode.
Makes perfect sense, dude.
So that was one of the things I wanted to bring up in terms of like theorizing. I got other theorizing stuff we can talk about, but that's kind of end of the episode stuff going into next episode. So let's go to break, and when we get back, we will talk about some stuff we didn't love about the episode.
There's a lot to say.
Hi everyone, this is Sarah, host of Go Get That Rose podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to talking about all things Bachelor Nation. Join Jay Wade, a man in his 40s who is recently new to all things Bachelor Nation, and myself, someone who has been watching passionately for the past 3 years, as we review, share our thoughts on each episode of whatever show is currently on TV, whether that is Bachelor, Bachelorette, or Bachelor in Paradise. We might not even know everyone's name, but we have fun nonetheless. You can find us on Merc with a Movie blog feed wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn. You guys might know me on this feed from co-hosting Beyond the Screen, but now here at Merc with the Movie blog, we have started a brand new show exclusively for video games called Game Over Screen. So join me every week with my co-hosts.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Brendan.
And I'm Tyler.
As we talk about everything video game related, and when we, I guess, get to the Game Over Screen. I don't know, I don't have a good pun for that, but the joke is that we're going to die a lot in that game.
Well, you might.
Hey, Jay Wade here to tell you about SEN Afterlive, our SEN Live After Show, where we talk about, well, whatever Christian, Brett, and the rest of the crew talk about and the insanity that ensues. So join us each week here on Merc with the Movie blog feed on your podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube now on the SEN Afterlive channel. Talk to you then.
All right. Check out all of those shows. Before we get into stuff that we didn't like about the episode, I want to preface this because I've seen some discussion online today. If you enjoyed the episode, good for you. Like, you know, nobody's trying to say you're not allowed to enjoy the episode. I know how it feels when people rag on something that you really enjoyed. If you enjoyed this episode, it is nothing against you. I do think that people online are being a little dismissive. I've seen people kind of dismissing the negativity and the criticism, and I don't think that's right. I know that we all really love Dave Filoni. I love Dave Filoni. Yeah. I don't think he's above criticism. And I have some criticisms of him in this episode. Particularly where I want to start is his direction. The writing I thought was fine for the most part. I disagree. I dislike a lot of the choices, but it wasn't bad. Like I don't think it was bad, but I disagree with or not disagree, but I dislike where the story is going. So that's not really a criticism. That's just, I don't like where the story's going. In terms of direction, I felt this, I didn't feel it as badly as I felt it last season, but I felt some stiffness. I felt some stiffness from Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I felt stiffness from Michael Biehn. Oh my God, that character. I wanted to shoot myself. I really felt he was extremely stiff, and I did not enjoy watching him on screen at all. I don't even know what the magistrate's name was, but I thought she was a little weird. I thought the direction, again, the only person that I didn't feel was stiff was Mando. And I think some of that might be because he's had episodes. He's been going for a while now.
Right.
Whereas pretty much everybody else in this episode is a new character. The action, I was very disappointed with. I've never been bored when a lightsaber's on screen until this episode. I felt it lacked energy. I thought she moved too slowly.
Well, yeah, fair enough. But I mean, dude, it's a fucking lightsaber. Come on, man.
It was cool, but I felt no energy to
it. Beskar Steel.
That was cool. That was cool.
Dude.
The final fight was cool. The final fight I thought was cool. The fight against Mando when he just blocks and shit is cool. I like when they do the thing from Rebels where she has the lightsabers together and she pulls them out.
Yeah.
But every other time she's fighting, I feel like she's moving just a little too slow. I don't feel the energy and the camera work of the fighting. It just, I don't know. Every time she was on screen with the lightsabers, I didn't feel any energy.
Ashley could have pulled it off. She would have been zipping around and jumping off of everything.
I don't think it's a thing for Rosario Dawson. I think it's a thing of direction. I know you're joking, but I want to make
introducing the fact that that I would have preferred Ashley playing.
I agree. But I do want to say that was my first and not my biggest criticism, because my biggest criticism is Ahsoka, but my biggest criticism that's not Ahsoka is I thought the action sequences just didn't have that energy that I expect from Star Wars when lightsabers are on screen. I don't know if it's because, he's a new director to live action. And we didn't
such a badass. She didn't really have to pull out her skills all that much,
I guess, but also he didn't get any like last season. It was a shootout that he directed.
Right.
So he didn't really get any physical altercation, hand to hand, weapon to weapon combat to direct. So I think it was just a first time director thing. I'm not going to lie. I really would have rather seen Robert Rodriguez direct this episode. I think he would have done some crazy cool shit with the lightsabers. I get that Ahsoka is Dave Filoni's baby, and I understand it feels right to have him direct the episode. I would have been okay if he'd just written it and somebody else had directed it, personally.
Right.
I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but let's talk about Ahsoka. I didn't like Rosario Dawson. I thought she was too cold. It didn't feel like Ahsoka to me.
There was none of that pep.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, that we've grown accustomed to Ahsoka having.
And I almost, it's been a while since I watched the end of Rebels. I watched the end of Rebels when the end of Rebels happened. Which was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So watching this Ahsoka, it felt like Ahsoka walked off a screen from the Clone Wars finale this year into the Mandalorian.
Right.
Ahsoka's a different character in Rebels. She feels very different in Rebels. So it didn't feel like a continuation of Rebels to me. It felt like a continuation of the Clone Wars. And I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
well, I can see that. Yeah. Because in Rebels, she came off like Gandalf the White.
Yeah.
This Ahsoka is more like Gandalf the Gray.
Yeah. I know people have mentioned the Leku, the tendrils. They're not nearly as long as they should be. I get it's a design change that for some reason I trust that they tried the way that it was in Rebels and it didn't work, but there's definitely shorter than they're supposed to be. I don't want to blame Rosario Dawson for the voice because it's her voice. She can't do anything about that, but it just didn't feel like Ahsoka hearing Rosario Dawson coming out of her mouth.
No, you're absolutely right, dude. As soon as she started talking, it put me off, and not in a way like where I didn't. And let me say, overall, it's not that I didn't dislike the episode. It's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Ahsoka in live
Yeah.
action, but it's not ever going to be one of my favorites when everything is all said and done.
No.
But yeah, it was just, but being so accustomed to Ashley's voice for so many years, I mean, I could close my eyes and hear the character of Ahsoka done by Ashley and know that that's Ahsoka done by Ashley.
Yeah.
So that was a little off-putting. But I mean, I don't know that. And I've been a fan of Rosario Dawson since I saw her, Kids.
Yeah.
Which for me, I was a teenager when that came out. You know, I was a 16-year-old punk ass, and this really insane, terribly depressing movie called Kids came out, and so I was aware of her from that, and then of course Death Proof with Tarantino, Clerks 2, all this other stuff she's done. So also, but that's more of a me problem than that's nothing that anyone else did wrong. That's more of my psychological problem, dude, because of seeing Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hearing myself twice.
I don't know.
All right. That's weird. Is it like that on the stream?
No, I don't hear anything.
All right. Well, it went away, so good. I don't know what that was. Regardless, I didn't like her portrayal of Ahsoka. It didn't really feel like Ahsoka to me. Looked like her, kind of. It doesn't. I mean, even then, I don't think she really looks like Ahsoka in the face.
I don't think so either. Like, if we didn't know that he was looking for Ahsoka, and we didn't know that she was Ahsoka, and we just saw that character come into a room in this show, I mean, you could guess, like, is that Ahsoka? But you wouldn't know. You wouldn't be like, oh, dude, that's Ahsoka.
Yeah. If I just saw that character without the lightsabers out or anything, because the lightsabers are kind of dead giveaways, but if I just seen the character, it doesn't really look like Ahsoka to me in the face. The tendrils aren't as long as they should be, which, again, I'm sure that they had a reason for that. I'm not really criticizing that too much, but it didn't feel like her. I watched the entire episode and I was like, it didn't really do it for me.
Right.
I think that, so we talked about, obviously, where's Thrawn was a thing that happened in this episode. It definitely was setting up some sort of continuation with Ahsoka. Really hope it's not live action. If this was the only live action Ahsoka we ever get, if they recast, if they said, okay, we're doing an Ahsoka series and we're bringing in Ashley Eckstein, that is the only way at this point that I'd be like, okay, go ahead and do it in live action.
You don't think that would throw people off too much, seeing two different Ahsokas like that?
I think it's already throwing us off, or at least it's throwing me off. Fuck it. Right. Go for it. Like, at this point, if it's not Ashley Eckstein, I don't want it in live action.
So you don't think there's anything that could be done with Rosario Dawson in the character that, in your mind, that will make it?
If they dubbed her like they dubbed Maul.
See, maybe. I actually thought about that too. I thought about that, like, how much would that help? Because I thought about that too. I was like, man, why couldn't they just dub the voice, man? And
I think it'd be so difficult to do that for a whole episode rather than he's on screen in Solo for what, like 2 minutes? Not even a minute. Like, I think it would have been so much more difficult to do that in this than and then even in a series where she's in every episode and she's the lead character, I think that'd be extremely difficult to do. If they could do it, I might buy that. I might be down with that. But at this point, if they were just, Rosario Dawson's just going to continue to play Ahsoka in live action, I'm not interested.
Fair enough, man.
Which sucks because I'd watch it. Let's be fucking real, but I wouldn't be happy. Because I got to know what happened to Thrawn and Ezra at this point.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I'm with you. There's no way I can go on living without knowing.
Yeah, if they were like Ahsoka's doing her own show with Rosario Dawson in charge and has nothing to do with the Rebels cast, I might be like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna watch that. Because I don't care. I
You
like
definitely
Ahsoka.
did not enjoy this episode more than I didn't enjoy it.
Probably not. I'm trying to be somewhat positive here, but I really didn't like her as Ahsoka. I was really upset watching her. Not so much at the episode, but with myself almost, because I was like, why aren't you enjoying this?
Like, there's that, and then there's that.
Yeah, and like also, okay, so this is another thing, right? This is another thing that really bothered me about the episode is the like, she's not a Jedi. Like that is one of Ahsoka's best moments in all of Star Wars is when she goes to confront Vader.
You're just assuming that it was talking about that the title is about Ahsoka, because you got to remember, dude, that Jedi is plural for the entire Jedi order and all of that. So maybe it wasn't. You have to take her. You know, maybe the reference isn't Ahsoka specifically, because she then did end up pointing him on to the Jedi temple and reaching out to the Jedi. So maybe that's what that was referring to.
I wish she'd said it. When he's like, I am tasked with bringing this child to the Jedi, I wish she'd gone, I'm not a Jedi. Instead of going, the Jedi Order fell long ago and being vague about her involvement in it, I wish she had said, I'm not, because that is the best, that is my favorite Ahsoka moment. Is when she's about to fight Darth Vader and she's like, I'm going to get vengeance for my master. And he's like, that's not the Jedi way. And she goes, I'm no Jedi. And then pulls out the lightsabers. That is my favorite Ahsoka moment in all of Star Wars. So to see it be treated so nonchalantly, because this is a problem I've had with Star Wars overall recently, and I really didn't like it in Rise of Skywalker when it popped up as well, because she shows up as one of the voices of the Jedi past. I really don't like this thing where we're trying to be like, hey, the Jedi are cool, actually, because they're not. Like, we got 3 movies about why the Jedi are a fucked up organization.
Right.
And a whole TV show about it. Like, and so there's a whole movie that I know a lot of people don't like called The Last Jedi that is all about.
You're understating that, Shawn. That movie is a complete pile of shit.
But my point being that it's an entire movie about you don't have to be a Jedi to use the Force. You don't have to be a Jedi to defend the light.
I think that's stupid. Not like defending the light, whatever. Defend whatever you want. But I, as a kid, and I grew up with the original trilogy. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, so I'm old school. So for me, as a kid growing up, that was the Force. Jedi were it was there were 2 people who could use the Force. Sith who were bad and Jedi who were good. It was clear cut, good versus evil in this so for me, I always loved that it was exclusive to those who were Jedis and shit, and that if you had the Force, you either became a Jedi or a Sith. I mean, that's when I was a kid, and when they came out, of course, they're going to change shit up over 30, 40 years.
Yeah, I like the grayer space of, like, not so much being, like, a gray Jedi, because those don't fucking exist. But the idea that, like, when you really think about it, the Jedi and the Sith are religious organizations, right? They're not... They are groups of people that have this power that come together and they have a core tenet of faith and ideas about that power. Just because you have that power doesn't mean you have to be a part of either religious organization, the Jedi or the Sith. You can have that power, just be a person.
I believe in God, and I don't believe in organized religion, and I can't stand churches. I think churches should pay taxes. There shouldn't be none of these kind of special things. So I get what you're saying. Like, and I guess me saying that you either, if you have the Force, you're either a Jedi or a Sith, that's not, that's kind of too far. Because I mean, you're going to have those average people who who don't know about the Jedi or the Sith, couldn't care
Yeah.
less, and when they find out, they still don't care. They still want to
Yeah.
be a nerf herder.
Yeah. It's just you're living a life. And I mean, I think that the more accurate thing to say is that you're either light or dark. Because
Right.
we've been told in Rebels that a person cannot exist in the gray. You cannot be perfectly balanced in light and dark. You will always be tugged either to the light or to the dark. That doesn't mean you have to be an extremist on either side, but you will always be more light than dark or more dark than light.
Right.
That only the Bendu and the mythical force spirits can exist in the center. But so for me, I really wish she'd said she wasn't a Jedi. I really don't like how with I don't want to say Disney, because Disney allowed The Last Jedi to happen in the first place, so they obviously really then didn't give a shit about the moniker of Jedi. But I wish Lucasfilm wasn't going back to the kind of you're a Jedi or you're a Sith, or like the Jedi are cool, actually. Like, the Jedi aren't cool. I'm sorry, we had 3 whole movies about how the Jedi are really fucked. It's a fucked up organization. It doesn't work. Like, Luke tried to reform them, and who knows? If Snoke and Palpatine hadn't intervened with Ben Solo, maybe Luke would have created a new Jedi Order that would have fixed the problems of the past one. You know, this doesn't mean that you can't recreate the Jedi and fix the issues that they had during the prequels.
Or
That's
just
something that
fuck the Jedi and just start a third religion.
You could do that. That'd be great. I just, I'm excited for the High Republic era, but we're going back to the height of the Jedi. Like, we're going back to the height of the Republic and the Jedi. It's like, come on. I want some more. I want some more depth to it. I want some more depth to the Force and to the people that use the Force and the sides of them. So I really did not like that she wouldn't just say she wasn't a Jedi. I don't like that they kind of played it wishy-washy on whether she was one or not. That's really all I have to say about Rosario Dawson and Ahsoka. Do you have anything else you want to add before we talk about Baby Yoda?
No, she just like I said, it was cool, it was fun to see Ahsoka live action, but it was nothing like what I had hyped it up to be in my mind going into it. Yeah.
I do think that the community had massive expectations for this episode, and I think it's hard not to. It's the first time you see a character like this in live action. Now, something that I liked even less than Ahsoka is good old Grogu here. So, without even talking about how the name Grogu is really fucking dumb, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
really don't like the name Grogu. I think Grogu's a dumb name. I'm sorry if you really like it. Maybe it'll grow on me. Not a fan as of right now. I actually laughed when they said it because I thought it was so dumb. They were like, "It's his name is Grogu," and I was like, "No, it's fucking not."
Baby Yoda.
But I really don't like his backstory. First of all, we're falling back on this thing.
Name, though, it is really cute how whenever the Mandalorian says his name,
yes,
he's excited.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, what's up, man?
What's
now
up,
we
dude?
can fucking get to know each other.
Yeah, I really did like that. I wish it was a different name you were saying. His backstory that we found out this episode. We find out that he was trained on Coruscant during the Clone Wars 20-some years ago. He's a toddler and he's 50. He spent like half of his what? Like, she's like, he's had many masters. He was like 25. What do you?
Right.
He was a toddler still.
One master, and then that master was likely killed at Order 66.
But just this idea, like, why the fuck does everybody have to be like? I hate that we're like, we need to explain everybody's power away in Star Wars. Right, it's really frustrating. People can just be strong with the Force. Like, we see it with Anakin. Like, Anakin is just strong. Like, fucking Qui-Gon, does the blood test and goes, "Holy shit, you've got more midichlorians than Master Yoda does." And that wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't like, "Well, how is he strong in the like he's not trained?" It's like the training has nothing to do with how strong you are in the Force. It's in how effectively you can use it.
Yes, you are right.
So again, it just felt like more, this is why Baby Yoda is powerful. It felt to me like why they explained away Rey's parentage in The Rise of Skywalker. Like, the reason she's strong with the Force is because she's a Palpatine. The reason Baby Yoda is strong with the Force is because he was trained on Coruscant. I don't think it really tracks that if he's a toddler at 50, that at 25 he was training in the ways of the Jedi. Like, what? Like, he would have been half his age. It just it doesn't.
Then what's his connection to Yoda then? Maybe he is actually, like, doesn't have to be a love child of him and that female Yoda species that
he was there.
But maybe it's his nephew. But I mean, maybe that's
there.
why he was there, was because he was in some way associated with Yoda.
Yeah.
So he got that special treatment. I don't know. That's a valid point you bring up.
I've seen some theories online of people saying that the trauma of Order 66 has caused him to like regress a bit, and that's why he doesn't seem as developed as he maybe should be if he was training. So if they go on to explain it like that, I'll buy it. But
it's
just
like here, you hear some people who have they're adults and they have a childlike voice.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but a lot of time that indicates some sort of trauma at that age, and they kind of stuck at that age.
Yeah.
I mean, that does make sense, but yeah, they would need to explain that, or it would be good if they did. Because
right now it just feels like what was implied is that he is less developed now than he was 25 years ago. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, he's already a toddler, so I don't really get how, like, if he was like an adult and it was like, yeah, he's lost some shit over the last 20 years, Right. Okay. But he was already so young. Unless they're lying about the age. Maybe he's not 50. Maybe he's already 374, I guess we don't really know. All we have to go off of is what Moff Gideon and the Empire say he is. They say he's about 50. Right. With the fob.
Where was he when Anakin went there to slaughter all the younglings? Who got him off of Coruscant?
There are a lot of answers that need answering, or questions that need answering. I don't love the idea of him having been at the temple to begin with. I feel like we keep making the universe smaller and smaller.
Right. I can see that, man. Yeah.
Instead of bigger, but I'm sure Grogu is gonna grow on me. The name, I don't like it right now.
Never gonna grow on me. Always Baby Yoda.
But it's gonna take some explaining to make me cool with his backstory, because as of right now, I'm not down with it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But we're off to Tython, apparently. I don't think we're gonna get there next episode, because we don't do that in this show. We don't ever get somewhere directly after.
How if you think Boba's gonna catch up to him, or it's gonna be Boba in the next one, how can that happen in your mind? Are they gonna make another pit stop somewhere for something? And
maybe they pit stop for fuel, or they get shot down again.
They can't get shot down again. His ship just got fixed after it was.
Yeah, but maybe he'll get forced to land somehow. Maybe it won't be. Maybe they'll like an EMP or something. Like, it won't be big damage.
Tatooine, right?
If we go back to Tatooine, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm good on Tatooine. I don't ever need to see Tatooine again in Star Wars, and I will be more than happy.
Right. I still don't care about, like, even if we don't see Boba Fett, like, his face again. Like I said earlier, I would be perfectly happy if we see from here to the end of the season, we see at least 2 shots of Slave One stalking him.
I'd be cool with that.
Make me happy, and then we bring the actor and the actual physical Boba Fett back in next season. That'd be fine by me.
That would be completely fine with me. I don't need Boba Fett to show up next episode.
I don't.
But if he's going to show up this season, I think it needs to be next episode before you get into the last 2.
Yeah, because I mean, we got some unfinished business with Moff, and we
Yeah.
got to figure out what those fucking things are. The Dark Troopers.
We
I
got to
wanna
do
get
that.
a nice, good look at those, man.
Yeah, we got to see Moff again. We got to get to Tython. I'm sure Tython's going to be a whole episode.
Has to be.
I'm so excited to see Tython, man. Tython is such a cool
that's
place.
the second to last episode, and at the end of that one, we see Moff. Oh, dude. Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, we see Moff Gus showing up at the end of the Tython episode, and then that sets up the final episode with the big fight, and that's where we get maybe. Well, I don't know, because you would think that, especially with all the Dark Troopers, you would think that we would, at the very least, get Bo-Katan back to help fight Gus, because she's looking for him for that Darksaber.
Yeah, you would think.
There are quite a few strings that need to be tied up here.
Yeah, I think some of them are going to wait till next season. I'm trying to get a good picture really quickly to throw in. I think this is a good picture of it from the MMO Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is that is where you actually go to Tython in that game. So I just wanted to bring up this picture of Tython, of the Jedi Temple on Tython, so you can kind of get a look at it, because I think it's going to look incredible if we see it. Oh, that's terrible. The quality sucks.
Oh shit! But I can get the point though.
Yeah, lots of like
the architecture looks sweet.
Yeah, the temples are big. Like it was the birthplace of the Jedi.
That's
like,
all.
Big architecture. Lots of forests, lots of rivers, kind of hills and mountains. Very beautiful place. So, there were those.
Interesting to see how shitty it looks now.
Yeah, what's actually an interesting idea though is remember there were those rumors that they shot in the jungle location from last season,
right?
Kind of forest area. Maybe they shot that with Tython, and we just assumed forest area. They're going back to Sanctuary.
Maybe
that's Tython, but I really hope we get to see it this season at the end, and I hope that it looks cool because I really like Tython.
Oh yeah, me too.
But I think that does it for us this week. I want to ask. I'll tell you, this was right now my least favorite episode this season. That's where I have it ranked below all the rest of them. Where would you rank this episode for this season?
I think I would. It's either last or second to last.
Because the one you had second to last, or the one you had last right now, was the first episode with Cobb Vanth.
I liked that episode more than I liked this one. Yeah. So This one, I'm with you. This one so far, sadly, and with regret.
Yeah.
Great regret. It is on the
very. Yeah. It's like, I know a lot of people, when there's something that they don't like, they might get like angry or something. I'm kind of just disappointed.
Yeah.
There were some things that I'm upset about, as I got heated about Ahsoka.
I'm glad people liked it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it when people enjoy things. So that's cool.
I agree.
But,
But for us, it didn't really do it. I really hope next episode does it for me. I'm sure you also hope that. I'm so excited to see what next episode is. We have zero footage from it. We have no idea where we're going to go, what it's going to look like, who's going to be in it, but we're going to find out. So for now, Wade, where can people on the internet find you?
Y'all can find me at jwade1134. That is the letter J, WADE1134. And I've got other shows that I do are in my bio there. So
awesome. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Shawn_AFK. All the shows I do are in my bio. And you guys can find this show and others on the Merc with Movie Blog podcast feed, which can be located on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Radio Public, Breaker, and Overcast. You guys can also follow Merc with Movie Blog on Twitter at MovieBlogMerc. This show is live every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, or around there. Sometimes we might start a little bit later. Unfortunately, Dean could not join us for this episode. I completely forgot to mention that at the top, but he will hopefully be back next week, and we'll start that episode off with his brief thoughts on this one so that he can maybe defend it a little bit or pile on. Who knows? But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching.